to Between the Posts. Tommy Javor here, joined by Tim Pillion once again.
Hi, Tommy.
Great day, mate. Third time this year, is it?
Third time this year.
Now, we're coming off a week's break because Div 1 had the week off, so we're in a bit of a unique situation where Div 1 are now finished round 13, but all the other divisions are finishing round 14. Now, You're out and about, you're a man about town. What tremendous ground did you visit in Division 3 yesterday?
Henley played North Haven at North Haven. It was a first versus third clash. Henley got the chocolates on this occasion. Must say, though, North Haven at North Haven is always a hard game. So.
Yeah. Nice place to visit as well, good friendly people. Plenty of banter on the field normally when I've been at North Haven, but always good to have a beer in there afterwards.
Yep.
Now, mate, you are our Division 3 expert, our analyst, if you will. Take us through what are the headings on today's Div 3? What are you looking into?
Well, mainly it's the fact there's only 4 rounds to go, and I believe that the final 5 might be set, Tommy. With regards to, if you look at the forward games, top playing bottom sides, who's playing each other, could be very much set in stone, even though 5th and 6th is only 1 point differentiating those, but I just get the feeling we're almost there. I'm going to talk about how dependent goal kickers are for different teams. So basically, there's the goal kickers who have high goal kickers, and then they drop right away, or teams that have an even spread of goal kickers. And that's something I'm going to talk about later on as well. So
yeah, fantastic, mate. And of course, you are, of all the people we have, and you're one of those ones that really does dive in deep and analyse things. So it's always great to have a conversation with you, mate. Now, as always, we've got tons of stuff on today's show. I'll be doing my Division 1 men's report, and it's getting very, very interesting. Really starting to take shape. We've got the Division 1 women's report, and of course, a Farmers Elite Coach of the Week coming to us from Division 1. Now, you're here, so tell us what else is on, mate.
Well, obviously, I'm going to do the Div 3 men's report. Also going to talk to the goals and the mark of the week. And finally, at the end of the show, we do that wonderful episode of What Caught My Eye.
Yeah, beautifully done. We'll be back with all of that and much, much more. Stay with us for more Between the Posts. It's Division 1 report time after a week off. It is, of course, round 13 is in the books for Division 1, a week behind the others, to allow for a wonderful standalone grand final on September 21st. Now, things might just be starting to take shape. When I get 5 out of 5 in the tips, things are playing out maybe the way we think they are, and maybe the top 5 is set. Maybe. We'll get to that a bit later on. We'll start with our stream team game. It was at Broadies, and Broadview had to win this one, but they didn't quite. It was Broadview 8-5, 53. Golden Grove, 8-12, 60, a 7-point win there to the Kookaburras. The man we're having a look at is number 6, Jake Pittman, multi-time male medalist. He is a super footballer, and they were calling him the Mud Man because he was in and under all day. Chief goal kickers for the Kookaburras, it was Pascoe with 3, whilst for Broadies, Cho and Yang and Ben Manning kicked a couple. Okay, we've got a bunch of awards here, so let's start off with the Moseley Voucher Best Team Man, and it was Lewis Johnson. He took some absolutely telling defensive marks, especially late in the game, pushing back from his wing. Our Neomorph Mouthguard goal play of the day was a Jed Bamwell goal. It was the sealer of the day, a crucial goal indeed, whilst our Best on Ground New Balance Voucher, Belgravia, Dartfish, all went to that man, Jake Pittman. Looking at some of the notes, and I got sent some extensive notes from our commentators. It was Broadview. It was a game that ebbed and flowed. Broadview by 3 at the quarter, Golden Grove by 12 at the half. Broadview again ascended, took the lead by 12 points at 3/4 time, and thought maybe we're going to jump into the fire, but it wasn't to be. It was 3 goals, 2 to 1 point in the final quarter by Golden Grove, running out 7-point winners. Interestingly enough, for those of you that watched the game or were at the game, 13 of the goals, of the 16 goals, were kicked to the northern end, which of course is the playground end or the skate park or dog park end. Broadies kicking just 2 points in 2 quarters to the southern end, which is often considered the old clubroom end. Clubrooms, of course, now are right in the middle of the ground. 5 goals in the third quarter would have had Broadview believing, but it was the Kookaburras Big 5 that fired. LJ, Shent, Glennie, Pittman and Pascoe all contributing in big ways to take the chocolates in this one. What will be really interesting for the Kookaburras now is that next sort of 5 games, because they do play Port, Sacred Heart and Glenunga. So it may not be as certain this final 5 as we think based on the back of this win. Let's have a look at some of the Dartfish stats that matter, and it's interesting because I see a slightly different match pattern in the way the stats read. So Golden Grove being a high disposal team, really chipping the ball around, controlling it, just chiselling the 45s and the lateral kicks, but they actually had less disposals, 9 less disposals and 15 less marks than Broadview. That belies the stats we've seen before. Turnovers, 74 to 73, speaks to how contested the game was, and it was muddy and tight and tough. But the inside 50 percentage, they went in with better usage today. 48% Broadview, 69% Golden Grove. Scoring shots, 7 more to Golden Grove. 4 of those were rushed though. So they did the old Glenunga style, took the ball in, took the grass and took it deep to keep the ball in there, try and get some repeat entries. Better players who didn't make the votes today for Broadview, Ethan Smith and Shepherd were very good, whilst for Golden Grove, Templeton and Shenton, a little move up forward, made him very, very important. Didn't quite hit the scoreboard, kicked a few points, but still a few good clunks and bring the ball, keeping it in the area. On to the votes now, a man who is a little bit of an unsung hero. I read a fair bit about him on the interweb, but Aidan Thatcher doing a great job down back got the 1 vote. Kane Flanagan from Broadies got the 2 votes, whilst Jake Pittman was best on ground, as you'd already been aware. A huge win for the Kookaburras, now puts their fate in their own hands. They've just got to find a way to knock off one of those top 3 in the coming weeks. Our next game was at Caterer Oval, where it was St Peter's taking on PNU. St Peter's 5-9-39 were defeated by Payneham North Union 10-11-71. The man who was best on ground was number 4 from PNU, Jed Spence. He managed to chime in with a couple of goals, along with Kelly, Rahul and Wagner, who all kicked a brace. Caterer can be a very, very interesting place to play football, and St Peter's generally play it very well. It was the move of Nick Kelly up forward in the second half that really straightened things up. You'll find that Port District did something similar, putting the big man up forward, getting the ball down there, getting those repeat stoppages. It's fair to say no Allen, Vrodos or Michaels probably hurt Spockies, but on the other hand, you look at Payneham missing Sanzo, Viney and Haynes. You can only put 21 on the park, so no excuses. What I want to have a look at now, though, is a Taj Rahul goal in the 4th quarter. Have a look at young Taj taking 3 Spock defenders, much like Eddie Betts, to the candy shop and kicking an absolute cracker.
Taken in the square, but Giannini gets a quick handball out. Rahui dances around them all. Rahui, he puts it through, and that is absolute magic from Taj Rahui. He sold about 7 bags of candy.
Yeah, quite the snag indeed from young Taj. Spock again fought hard early, leading by 2 and 4 at the breaks, but then it was 5-5 to 1-1. Payneham in the 3rd. They lit the match and just got the job done quite beautifully. Looking at some of the better players who didn't get in the votes for PNU, Wagner, Matty Nunn is back from a hammy, which is really important, and Kelly, all very good. Whilst for Spocky, Dwyer and Higgins were fantastic. And that man, a huge congratulations, 200 games to my favourite footballer in Division 1. I don't care what you say. Jordan Lockwood, you star. Too bad the boys couldn't get a win for you, but I hope you had a good day and good celebrations. Let's look at our Player of the Year votes now. It was 1 vote to Charlie Allen from Spock, whilst Joseph Christansig from Payneham had the 2, and best on ground was Jed Spence. Again, finals, it's hard not to look at finals now as we get closer, but in the last 5 games, PNU play 3 teams below them and 2 teams above them. So I think they've not only assured themselves finals, but they're really starting to entertain. If Port don't maintain the rage, Payneham will actually have ambitions of moving into that 3rd spot. A couple of wins, they're certain of the top 5. If they win more, 4 or 5 of their last 5 games, they will indeed, from nowhere, claim that double chance. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Our next game was at Webb Oval. It was Glenunga taking on Tea Tree Gully. Glenunga doing Glenunga things, 16-10-106, Tea Tree Gully 11-5-71. Our player in footage is the big man, Jordan West, number 28. He kicked 3 goals. Whilst for Tea Tree Gully, their chief contributor was Josh Spence with 3 goals himself. It was a very special day as well. It was Indigenous round, so a full day of ceremonies there. Now, the Indigenous Guernsey was designed by Ben Davis, brother of Abe Davis, and presented. at a smoking ceremony, and as they do with all things Glenunga, they've got a great committee, beautifully done there, a good Indigenous day for the club. They led by 6, 23-49, and again ran out by 35-point winners. They took control when they need to, and they're just basically too strong. Big shout out to the commentator Jack Moore, who sent me through, obviously all the commentators sent me through notes so I can be as comprehensive as possible. This is a great stat that Jack's picked up. Between the 16th minute of the first quarter and the 17th minute of the second quarter, Glenunga kicked 10 goals, and that's what they can do to you. So well done, Jack, a great stat, and just speaks to when Glenunga put the foot on the throat, they put it down hard and they twist. It was a congested game, and apart from that period where the Rams broke it open, it was tough football, conditions heavy. We've got a great highlight here. It's at the 23rd minute mark. It's a wonderful goal by Hugh DeSera.
Prowse, here goes Glenunga. DeSera has one. He's put the burners on. Has another one. DeSera. DeSera has 3 and runs into a goal. Huey DeSera. Ryan Heffernan was working hard, chasing, but Huey DeSera, 3 bounces, put the Jets on and ran into an open goal. So Glenunga now starting to put their foot down a little bit. They get their 4th goal.
That is, of course, our Jag Meatworks snag of the day. Great job, Huey. Let's look at the better players who didn't make the votes for Teacher Gully. Penny, Martin and White, all very good. Whilst for Glenunga, it was the Wiz and Tommy Kay. And the vote getters were Decky Fay, a boy from North Adelaide Roosters, doing good things in the middle there. Abe Davis, whether he was on the ball, up 4 to behind the play. He is just a man mountain, and another wonderful game. And Westy, the big ruckman, in a big 3-way shootout with Scott Lysett and Blake Penny for that Team of the Year honours, was best on ground again. So for Glenunga, they sit undefeated. Probably not much more I need to say about that. But it's Tea Tree Gully that interests me. People will probably be saying now they've fallen off, they've fallen out, they're probably towards relegation zone. It's interesting enough for Tea Tree Gully that in the last 5 weeks, they play 7th, 9th, 10th, 6th and 5th. All winnable games. It's not over. The dream is not over for Adam Escotta and the boys. They just got to start winning and get on a roll, much like they did last year, and anything can happen. It'll be really interesting to see how that plays out. All right, our next game was at Largs Reserve. It was Port District taking on PAC in the grand final rematch. Port District 12-18, 92 good for PAC, 8-3-51. Louis Sharrod, number 23 from Port, is putting together a real nice body of work over the last 4 or 5 weeks. He was once again the star of the show. The return of Kenny Carpenter for Port is crucial. He kicked 3 goals, set up a couple as well. He's going to be huge at their tilt at finals. For PAC, their only multiple goal kicker was that man, Juice Davis, back playing for the Reds. A pretty comprehensive 4-quarter display from Port District, leading by 10, 19, 24, ultimately to run out 39-point winners. One of the tactical moves that and adjustments that Coach Josh Ramsey seems to have made is rather than resting Scott Lysett on the bench, you've got this AFL-listed Premiership ruckman, putting him deep down at full forward. It's straightened Port District up, allow them to have repeat stoppages, and again, a big target like that does wonders, so he was really handy down there. Port's rebounding was too strong, and when you look at names like Haynes, Sharrod and the Gaffneys, that is just an elite set of ball users to have rebound coming from defence. Better players not in the votes for PAC, Jolly and Macaulay, while support Lysett, Millicata and the Gaffer. Let's look at the votes now. 1 vote, Harry Dwyer, 2 votes, Joey Haynes, and 3 votes, Louis Sharrod. If you look at Port's results over the last 4 or 5 weeks, they're really starting to play the football that we thought they'd be playing all year. I think they are coming. Look out, Glenunga. Our last game of the round was at Brighton. It was Brighton 3-5-23, Sacred Heart 4-9-33. Not exactly what you'd call a shootout, but it was a close, tight game, so always entertaining for the spectators when it's tight. Tom McDermott, number 7 for Sacred Heart, was adjudged best by our commentary team, and it was, as I said, close. Brighton by 5, Shock by 15, 3/4 time by 8. Always within reach Brighton were, but ultimately went down by 10 points. Like a previous game, there must have been a southerly. I think you call it a southerly, because everything was going to the north. 6 of the 7 goals were scored to the northern end of Brighton. As I mentioned, a tight game and difficult to hit the scoreboard. It was 40 minutes before Shock, Sacred Heart that is, could score their first goal. Then they scored 3 goals in around 5 minutes. So the majority of the goals for the game were scored in 1 5-minute period, which is really quite crazy. There was 2 goalless quarters from both teams as well. Not very often you'd see that. For Brighton, the better players. Will Rivers was very good. Ty Murphy, very calm and composed on a day where people didn't show a lot of composure with the ball because it was so heavy and congested. And Jed Farquhar battled man flu. Well done to Jed. Got up off his deathbed and played his first game in 700 days in the A grade. What an outstanding effort that is, up against Noble, who himself for shock was very good, along with Sanderson. But we've got a couple of highlights here in a day that wasn't full of them, let's be honest. But we've got a Jag Meatworks snag of the day. It's Connor Hartshorn from Shock. Let's have a look at his effort.
He's on. Goes inside forward 50. No mark taken. Comes to ground. He just needs to gather him some momentum. What a snag of the day! Oh, in the pocket.
That was the only highlight, however. We've got a highlight for a contender for a Bianco mark of the day. It's Alex Book from Brighton.
So looking for a long target. Big Book, can he read it? The big man, he can! A little bit of a Bianco mark of the week contender by the Big Book.
That only leaves us with the votes for this one. 1 vote, Seb Kerrish. 2 votes to Ethan Moore, and that man, Tom McDermott, best on ground. They say Sacred Heart have the best defence in the league. Well, when you hold a team to 3 goals in Division 1, that probably proves it. Watch out for the Shockers. All right. What we move on to now is the votes for Player of the Year for the last time. Okay, as we draw close to the end of the season, this is now going to be a little bit of secret squirrel stuff. For the last 5 rounds, I won't be putting up the leaderboard, so have a good look now. On 11 votes, Big Westy. On 12 votes, Seb Kerrish. On 12 votes, also Matty Nunn. Joey Haynes on 14 votes, and the defending champion, Abe Davis, on 17. Conceivably, any of those guys could win Player of the Year. Good luck to all players. Let's move on to the ladder now. Business as usual up the top with Glenunga 13-0, Shock 11-2. Port District 7.5 wins, Paynham 7 wins. As I said now, probably really can start thinking about finals and just how far they can go in finals. They really want that double chance. And Golden Grove, percentage and a win above the chasing pack, which of course consists of Broadies, PAC, both on 5 wins, Tea Tree Gully on 4 wins, but playing all the teams around us over the next 5 weeks. Whilst Brighton 3.5 wins, I think it's going to take 9. My theory is it will take 9 to get in the finals. So Brighton with 5 rounds to go won't be playing finals this year, I wouldn't think. They'll be fighting to get out the relegation zone, along with Spock, who unfortunately their finals dreams, in my opinion, are over for 2024. Let's look at this week's games. And again, every week throws up some wonderful contests. It's the grand final rematch at Park 9. PAC taking on Glenunga, and I believe Glenunga will win and win quite well. Tea Tree Gully hosts Spock at Pertaringa. Tea Tree Gully need to start their role this week over Spock, and if they don't, they won't be talking about that elusive 5 wins and finals dream. They'll be really looking at the relegation zone. Tea Tree Gully for mine. Golden Grove and Port District at Harpersfield. Golden Grove come good. Both these teams are had a pretty good month of footy. I could see this one going either way, but I think Port District are the team that looks the most dangerous for me, so I'll take them. PNU and Brighton at Paynham. PNU should get the chocolates in this one. If they don't, then no chance they'll get the double chance. And last but not least, Sacred Heart and Broadview. Well, Broadview let one slip on the weekend after being up. They have to get one back. They have to beat Shock, but I don't think they will. It's been the Division 1 report with TJ. I'll be back next week with more Division 1 action.
Get a quick and easy low-rate car loan from Police Credit Union today.
Well, we are back and you cannot keep us quiet about women's footy for long. I'm Beck Northcote, you know me by now, and there is so much to talk about in women's footy. Now, while the men's Division 1 and Between the Posts were on holiday last weekend, well, of course, the women, they kept going. So let's have a quick look back at what happened in round 12 while everyone was away. Now, that mid-section ladder battle has taken a new turn. It is heating up and it is still on for young and old because Broadview and Morphettville Park could have no separation. They had a draw. 4 goals, 3 apiece, 27 all. It just shows how close things are in that middle of the ladle area. Now, the top 2 face off as well, Henley and Paynham. Payneham 8-9-57 defeated Henley 3-7-25. A 32-point win to Payneham. Little bit of inaccuracy by Henley might have cost them, but Payneham came out on top, and that is a real statement. You know, we haven't got long to go in the season. Payneham knocked off Henley. It's all happening. And then Smosh, well, they got close to their first win, but just couldn't quite get over the line. They went down by 7 points to Golden Grove. The Kookaburras, they just got the job done, 4-5-29 to 3-4-22. And Goodwood, they had the bye. Now, let's get straight into what happened on this weekend. And can you believe the season is nearly over? All the minor rounds nearly done. It is all happening. Let's get straight into round 13. Now, Golden Grove versus Broadview, that happened at Golden Grove, and it was Broadview that took the points. They got a 27-point win, 4-10-34 to Golden Grove, 1-1-7. Now, there is so much going on for fourth position, and this result will really have some meaning in these calculations. And I was initially a bit surprised when I looked at this result first up, but then I realised Broadview did a similar thing back in round 6. So they won by 39 points back then. Now, Broadview, like I said, it's all happening in that fourth position. This win puts them up in there at the moment. Golden Grove is still hot on their tail, and it's just going to be a real battle coming into the last round. But we'll have a look at the ladder a little bit later. Now, let's have a bit more look into this game. Broadview, their goals came from Liana Antonoli, Remy Grant, Kelly's Jackson Martin and Abby Player. Their best was Alana Doling. For Golden Grove, their singular goal came from Emma Lovell, and their best was Tiana Hatchard. Now, Broadview, I think they'd be very happy with how things went down here, especially coming off that draw, as I mentioned the week before. They were a little bit inaccurate, but 14 scoring shots and holding Golden Grove to just 2 scoring shots. They'd be really happy with how their defence was able to lock down and work hard, and it looks like they had plenty going on in attack. Now, both teams would have been so desperate for the points, and as I said, Broadview probably just a little bit annoyed that they only got the draw the week before. Both teams, I think they've had really solid seasons to date. They've managed to challenge parts of the top of the ladder when they've had the opportunity, and probably just struggled a little bit for consistency. But overall, I think they've performed quite well, and they'll be looking now to that last game of the round and hoping it's not their last game for the season. Moving on, and it was a huge commanding win by Payneham, 125 points over Smosh. Payneham, 20 goals, 15, 135 to Smosh, 117. 135 confirmed highest Division 1 women's score for the year. And is that a little bit ominous going into finals with Payneham looking this good? They've only dropped the 2 games for the season, and we know they're seeking that flag that they were denied last season. Now, I know what you're thinking. 20 goals for Payneham. Someone must have kicked an absolute bag of goals. Well, there's no disappointment here. It's Chelsea Packer. She has kicked 8 goals. Just an absolute slay by Cheza there. Her 4th appearance for Payneham, and she is having her moment. Now, of course, she's not the only multiple goal scorer. You've got Abby Claby as well backing her up with 4. And now 4, I'd normally be impressed by that, and it still is. But today, you know, you've got 4, you've got 8, it's all happening. Zoe Proud as well, she kicked 3 goals. Darb Nanga, she kicked 2. Steph Gibson, Kayari Jeffries and Chloe Samuel. Whew, I got to take a breath after all those goal scorers, but that was the lot for Payneham. Now, if you're thinking Chelsea Packer, 8 goals, did she get best on ground? Of course she did. If she hadn't, I was going to have to put in a call to Macca about that one. Now, for Smosh, their goal came from Jade Bayless, and their best was Brittany Higgins. Now, honestly, it is a bit of a difficult task for Smosh, bottom of the ladder, haven't won a game this season, unfortunately, to come up against Payneham this late in the season when Payneham are clearly on the charge. They're trying to push to finals. They're trying to find their best form, and Smosh, well, they've had a bit of a rough season, unfortunately. And this is actually their last game for the year. So For Smosh, well, they say goodbye to their season, and I really hope that they can get moved into a division for next season where they can be a bit more competitive, because I know they've got plenty of talent down there at Smosh, and I think they will really thrive in a division where they can really compete and play some of their best footy. And they've got plenty of juniors down there. They'll keep rolling them up into the seniors, and I think they'll look ahead to 2025 and be in a more comfortable position and in a division where they can find some success. And Payneham, goodness me, they're looking a little bit scary at the moment. Now, the last game of the round, Goodwood and Henley. Goodwood coming off the bye, and Henley, well, they were coming off that loss to Payneham where they lost top position on the ladder. Well, the Sharks, they made no mistake, and they remain a top 2 side. Henley 5-5-35. They were too good for Goodwood. 3 goals straight, 18. 17-point win. Got the job done, back in business. The win last weekend, that's forgotten. Where did it all come from? Kayla Robrin, 3 goals with singles to Georgie Blades and Jordan Steinbeck. Their best was Ella Clogg. For Goodwood, Emma White kicked 2 goals and Abby Pengelly kicked 1 as well, and their best was Olivia McAvoy. Now Henley, they go 2 from 2 against Goodwood for the season, which could mean something coming into finals, because obviously Goodwood are in the mix for the top 4 as well. They'd definitely be happy with the win, because like Payneham, they're trying to get that form coming into the last round, coming into finals. It's all happening. This is the time where you've really got to get your best football happening. For Goodwood, well, they have been amongst it all year. Who could forget their 3-0 start to the year? I was so up and about for them, and I still think that they've got some good footy to be played. Now, the ladder is absolutely heating up. It's gone a bit crazy. Let's have a look at it. We've obviously got Payneham and Henley, they are solid top 2. 9 wins, 2 losses. I think they're going to stay there. Even depending on what happens next week, it'll just be the order of the top 2. Locked and loaded, they're playing finals. After that, it is absolutely up for grabs. You've got Goodwood, Broadview, Golden Grove, Morphettville Park. They are all in contention for those final 2 spots in the top 4. There is not much separating them at all. Goodwood, they've got a fairly decent percentage, which I think will help them out a lot. But they do come up against Payneham in the last round, so it's going to be a really tough battle. We've also got Broadview and Henley facing off in the last round. You'd expect Henley to get the job done there, but Broadview, I just feel like they're building something. I feel like they're coming. The other game for the last round is going to be Morphettville Park and Golden Grove. And again, anything could happen here. I think for the first time this season, all 3 of these games, I'm going, anyone could win all of this. I've talked about, the domination of Payneham, but Golden Grove, I think they just have Goodwood, they have the ability to surprise. So do all of these teams. I don't know where to go with any of this. We'll just, we're going to come back and see what happened, how these finals fall, and what goes on in the next few weeks. Now, speaking of finals, grand finals for women's, they are coming up soon. We get ours done nice and quickly, get it all finished, get those medals given out. Grand finals, all grades. We will, of course, be there. We'll be streaming all of them. We'll be covering them. We'll be getting around the girls. 17th of August, mark it down in your diaries. We've got Division 3, Division 4, Division 5, Division 6, a massive day of women's footy. Then on the 24th of August, we have Division 1 and Division 2 and their reserves counterparts. Now, all of the venues and times will be advertised upcoming. They obviously have to sort out where everyone's playing, but it's going to be so exciting. I was there last year, 2 massive days of women's footy. There was Archie's thongs flying around everywhere for the best on ground, so great days. So like I said, keep an eye on that last round of Division 1 women's, because that's going to be crazy. But then get involved with our streams 17th and 24th of August, or of course get down to the grounds. You could get your face on the stream with me as well. That's all for this week. Just keep enjoying your women's footy, and I'll see you next time.
It's time for our Farmers Elite Coach of the Week. It comes to us from Division 1. He's our 2023 Farmers Elite Coach of the Year. It's no surprise that after 13 consecutive wins, it's Nathan Grima from the Glenunga Football Club. Nathan's strength, he's used 38 players this year. He's able to galvanise a group very strongly, so everyone plays their role. 6 from last year's B grade finals are currently playing in the A grade. But Nathan, when I spoke to him, wanted to make mention of his team. It's not just him, it's his team that's around him. Alex Guy's the assistant, Beachy, the mad scientist David Pittman, Kev Whitford, and Nick Angiacostas has come in as the fitness coach, all working together to make his job smooth and easy and make him a great choice for our Farmers League Coach of the Week. And Div 3 fans, it's that time. The man who's been out to 14 rounds, looking at all the different venues, Division 3, our Div 3 expert, Tim Pillion. What have you got for us today? I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks, Tommy. I'm going to keep it pretty simple, but we'll go through the premiership table, key games coming up, goal kickers, and then just a little bit of a theme I've got running through my segment for today. But let's start with the premiership table. I mentioned it earlier, but I just get the feeling right now with 4 games to go that the final 5 might be set, Tommy.
Yep.
I'm comfortable that Henley are sitting on top with 2 games clear. Still yet to play Smosh will put them 3 games clear, and with only 4 games to go in percentage, that'll put them on top. Lockley's at 12-2. A couple of games, 1 game clear now of North Haven after their defeat yesterday. I get the feeling they'll also finish in second spot. North Haven and Unley are a small chance of swapping spots. So Unley, I think that their games coming up, they've got winnable games, whereas North Haven have still got to play a couple of top sides. So they actually play this week. Unley play North Haven this week. So if Unley get the win this week, that puts them only 2 points away, which is where I think they can get it.
Closes the gap, and with North Haven still to play Lockley's, that's where it can be made up, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah. Now, the key to it is it's played at Unley. You always know my home ground advantage thing. So if Unley can get that win, that's great. But if North Haven put it away, it's bettered. First 3 are always going to be in place. Unley, I think, are comfortable in 4th position. And then we head down to 5th with Pembroke on 14 and Seaton on 13 in 6th position. Unfortunately, Seaton, in the last 4 games, are going to play 4 top sides.
They certainly are, and they played Pembroke in round 17, which will probably be the death knell of them. And I don't want to steal your thunder. Pembroke just played the 1 top 4 team. So I'm spot on with you there, mate. I agree completely.
Exactly where I'm heading with all this. And, of course, Seaton play Henley this week, which gives probably another gap, even though, like you said, Pembroke play Hope Valley this week, could get that gap that we need. So I think the top 5's forming and shaping as it is. Not saying it's set in stone. Anything could happen. But just what we're here to give opinions and have a chat.
I'd suggest, based on what you've just told me, mate, Seaton probably need to knock off Henley or someone of that ilk very, very soon if they want to play finals.
Because of that run of home games they had, Seaton, they've just dropped games to Hope Valley and Scotch. 2 games at home from sides that are below them, and I think that's where I had this feeling that they might have come home with a wet sail, but it's not all going...
We got it wrong, so I agree with you, mate, so I thought they would make finals as well.
Hope Valley in 7th position, seem to be finishing there. The Scotch and CBC, here we go. Now, there's a 5-point difference between 8th and 9th at the moment. So
locked away, I'd think, wouldn't it be?
Not really. So relegation, the only hope is this. So once again, CBC play Smosh this week, who haven't won a game. So CBC have got an opportunity to jump to 5, and unfortunately Scotch are playing Lockley's. So it could be after this round only a 3-point gap. Now, if that's the case, just go back to the Smosh CBC game. Smosh have got their opportunity to win their first game of the year. If they don't win this game, they're not going to win a game all year, which will be unfortunate. After that, though, Scotch and CBC play each other in the last game of the year, which is worth 2 points, gets it back to 1. So if CBC can sneak a game and upset a side, because they do play 3 of their last 4 at home, they've an opportunity they could actually avoid relegation.
So question without notice, I think you've got the answer there. The Smosh CBC game, that one's at the Lions Den, isn't it? At Smosh?
Smosh CBC at Smosh.
Well, this is their big chance. Coming off what would be a 4-goal loss this week, a really valiant effort against Seaton. This is the one I think they'd be geared up for.
They have to. You've got to give everything this game. And CBC, if they want to avoid relegation, have to go the other way and make sure they put everything into this week. So, premiership table locked away. I think there's a couple of, like I said, favourites at the top of the table. And unfortunately, there might be a couple of people already looking for relegation in regards to the table. If I just move over to the key goal kickers, part of my theme this year is going to be around, today is going to be around goal kickers. We've got Benny Harron from Lockleys on 52, doing a great job every week, very consistent. Jamie Solly, North Haven, 47. We played North Haven yesterday. I say we, being Henley, when my boys play. He has got some sticky fingers.
Yeah.
Seriously.
He can play.
He leads for the ball. He puts his hands up, and once he gets his hands on it, it doesn't move.
Who's the third place goal kicker? I'm waiting for it. Normally you gloss over this. Who's third on the goal kicking?
I'm getting there. Tom Pillion, Henley, and four.
Your boy Tommy Pillion, chip off the old block, doing beautiful things.
Doing very well. Centre half forward, kicking 40. Pembroke, 2 in a row. Alex Forster, Nicholas Dinham, 38 and 37. They're the 2 key pins for Pembroke. Going to be part of my theme a little bit later on, sitting in 5th position. And Matthew Min, Hope Valley. We played them a couple of weeks ago. Matthew Min has a bit of run on the ball at times as well, but he gets the ball within 40 metres. Doesn't miss.
No.
What a beautiful kicking action, what a beautiful kicking style, and wow.
Kicked the
windy
sealer
conditions,
a
beautiful.
couple of weeks ago, kicked the sealer in one of our goals of the week. Really nice finish. Right on, as you said, took the ball on 50, drifted out the boundary line and sliced it straight through.
Beautiful kicking.
Good footballer.
Beautiful kicking style. So, yeah. All right, so talking on to matches of the round for next week. So I just briefly mentioned it when I talked about the premiership table. Let's go through it. The match of the round for me is 3rd versus 4th. So we've got North Haven versus Unley at Unley. So that'll be a key game. It does get them that opportunity, Unley, for the double chance.
Yeah.
North Haven always do and should bounce back after a loss yesterday. But I can see that game being critical and the only game that'll change the top 4.
I'm going to tip North Haven in that one, mate. I just think they're just a touch better than Unley. Unley can prove me wrong and give themselves a chance at that double chance. Your tip, mate?
Tough. I'm a home ground man. I really am.
Okay.
So I think Unley have just got something about them at the moment. And I'll just go against you there and I'll pick Unley because of what's at stake and putting it on the line. The next match of the week is go to the other end of the table, Seabock and Smosh. I said to you, so that's 9th versus 10th. Smosh at home, opportunity to win their first game of the year, or Seabock an opportunity to give themselves a chance to make sure they can get out of relegation.
I'll be taking the boys in purple to be going, ee. That was meant to be a dolphin noise. Dolphins for mine.
Great. I'll go with Dolphins as well. That was a dolphin. Okay, good. Next is 5th versus 7th. Pembroke versus Hope Valley at Pembroke. So
Must win.
Henley played Pembroke at Pembroke. We struggled with the shape of the oval. They played the ground.
The trees that hang over.
Well, not only that, they got within, 2 goals early in the last quarter, and then Henley kicked away. They also played Lockleys there a couple of weeks ago and stretched Lockleys, I think, within a goal, close to a kick.
Don't tell me you're tipping an upset, are you?
I'm thinking Pembroke will beat Hope Valley at home.
Yeah.
That won't be an upset.
No, it's not an upset, you're right. For me, I just look at Alex Forster down there this time of year. He's already kicked 38 goals. He's 100 centurion. He was the Div 1 full forward for Payneham in 2019. He's still, he's the one that I think will get away from him as he did this
There's
week.
the home ground advantage for me. The other games are Seaton versus Henley, so 6th versus top position. Always a tough game. Seaton set themselves for Henley every time they play. It's very much a big rivalry. Another big day at the club rooms for Seaton as the new club rooms have opened. I believe they're absolutely fantastic, and I know there's a lot of Henley people will be going there for that game. And then finally, last...
Tip, please, Henley. Are you?
Oh, sorry. I think Henley are doing well enough at the moment to beat Seaton, who yesterday only just got over the line.
Yeah, 4 goals over Smosh, so not super impressive. And that was at home as well, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah. So, and then finally, Lockleys versus Scotch. We saw Scotch last week when we played Henley. We had their measure quite comfortably, so I'm thinking Lockleys will do the same at home. So Lockleys for me.
A couple of the Scotch players travelling very, very well, and Hugo Walter, 11 times in the best out of 14 this year, but I don't think they'll get the chocolates in that one.
Yeah. So moving on to my highlights, something I've just picked up as a theme that I want to talk about. It's going to take me through to what caught my eye as well. One of the reasons I've gone for an upset with Unley beating North Haven this week is Unley yesterday in their defeat kicked 15 goals, in their win, who they defeated, kicked 15 goals. They had 11 different goal scorers. So my theme this time, Tommy, is going to be about the dependency on key forwards or mixing around and having lots of goal kickers. I think 11 out of 15 goals means on-ballers, half-forwards, wingmen, and forwards are all kicking goals. So there's no dependency on one
Everyone's
particular
chipping
player.
in. Yep.
Correct. Henley yesterday kicked 18 goals, had 9 different goal scorers, which I think, again, is a key part to the success of Henley this year. Lockley's 12 goals had 7 different goal scorers. Again, that's a good spread. And we don't only rely on Harron.
Yeah, Benny Harron, obviously the
and
key.
McDonough and so forth. Seaton yesterday, 15 goals, 8 different goal scorers. But the one for me is Pembroke kicked 12 goals, only 5 different goal scorers. So, look, I don't know. I'm going to have that conversation with you as we go through the different divisions around dependencies of people who have kicked a lot of goals or teams that have a spread.
Beautifully done there, Tim. And the last one, we're talking about what? The Henley Sharks. Now, at the start of the year, you were very, very resistant on the fact I said I thought Henley Sharks were going to be the best team in all divisions. They were the shortest price favourite. And you've seen them every week, mate. And I know you had to play it down. But 14-0, they've taken all before them. You've seen them live, mate. They are playing an exciting brand of football and teams aren't actually getting that close to them.
So I did mention it to you this morning that we set ourselves for a very, very big game against North Haven yesterday at North Haven. Last year when we played them in Div 2, they beat us at North Haven, we beat them at Henley. So we just know they play that ground really, really well. So we're up and about and we were set for it. And I'm starting to get on board that they've got enough depth and they've got enough system and they've got enough clarity in their roles that they're doing everything right.
Damon's doing very well as a coach as well, galvanising the group.
So the Henley Heroes Members' Day was last weekend over a lunch, and Damon got up and spoke to the entire room, 120 people. We had Mark Bickley there and Darren Jarman there speaking on behalf of the club. And Damon openly shared with the club about how they're going through a heavy training block at the moment to prepare themselves for finals. He's had the ability to... I'm not going to use the word rest, I'm not going to use the word rotation, but anyone that's got a niggle or a knock or a corky or an ankle or something like that, because of the depth in the B grade and the C grade, Tommy, he has been able to rest them and just give them that freshen up for that week. So it just all seems to be falling in place at the moment.
Are the Bs near the top of the ladder, or?
Bs are undefeated, Cs are undefeated.
Yeah, so there's pressure for positions as well, and that's the greatest gift a coach can get.
Yeah, so 4 players in the last 2 weeks from the B grade have come up and taken their roles, and you know, they performed admirably and really, really well because they know what's on the end of it if we can. So we've got a healthy list at the moment. I'm going to cross my fingers and bite my tongue and touch wood and everything like that, but if we're healthy, you know, we're going to be strong.
Yeah, no, look, all year I've felt it, and it's absolutely played out that way. Henley are the team to beat, and we've probably just given a bit of ammunition to the other 4 teams that are going to be in the finals. And
which I talked to you about before. So I'm not sure I wanted to do this, everyone, so I'm sorry.
But, I mean, we're here to report on the facts, and they're just travelling beautifully, and as long as they don't, as Nathan Grimer says, start drinking their own bathwater, I think they'll be just okay. Tim, that's been fantastic. Anything else before we go?
No, that's basically it.
Beautifully done, mate. A wonderful look at Division 3. We'll see you right at the end of the season as well when we bring all the experts in to preview their respective finals. Thanks for watching Division 3. We're back with more Between the Posts. Welcome back to Between the Posts. It's time for your favourite segment. It's time to like, heart or wow your favourite goal or mark of the week.
That's a quick handball out. Rahui dances around them all. Rahui, he puts it through, and that is absolute magic from Taj Rahui.
Here's an opportunity. Left foot snapper. Almost a one-hander. He's dragged it in, Kalydo. Great mark by the playing coach.
And welcome back. It's one of our favourite segments. Let's see if we can shoot this in one take. It's what caught our eye. Timmy, incoming. Oh, you go work your magic on that one, Tim. We're working. Oh, it might have worked. 1 through to 7, Tim. What's your theme? You're the one that actually got me onto themes. I've got a theme, but you go first. Tell us your theme. What is
Okay, so my theme this week is dependency on goal kickers. If you're looking at Division 6 and Division 7, we have 100 goal kickers, 100 goal kickers, right? And the dependency on those players at full forward is what just got me thinking about if they got injured, unavailable, sick in some way, how does the team cater for and cover their loss? And as we get through to the higher divisions, you'll see the even spread of goal kickers. And it's basically just a bit of a theme I'm going with today, Tommy.
Yep. And in Division 1?
Division 1, so I'm just going to name some numbers and names here, so I hope I don't bore the hell out of you here with this stuff. But Glenunga, top of the table, have got a spread of goal kickers. So the highest is Michael McMahon. Is he a key forward?
Plays forward, high half forward, wing, plays all over the shop.
Yeah, very much around the play. 27 goals, Harry Prosser 24, Abe Davis 20. Okay, so 20s for the top side of the year is the leading goal kicker in the round. The other side's a shock, 20, 17 and 16.
Yep.
Broadview, 13, 18. Port District's 26 and 12. So the higher the division, the lower the leading goal kicker is and the dependency on other players and spreading the load. And that's going to be the theme going through for me.
And I think the defensive mind of the Div 1 coaches speaks volumes there. All right, so my theme this week is a Final Five focus, the game that shaped the Final Five and the bottom end of the Final Five most. Last week I talked about the top end of it, but the bottom end. With the exception, we are going to have a break in Div 2 because we've got something very special in Div 2. So the game that shaped it the most was Golden Grove and Broadview, and it was Golden Grove getting the points, 7-point victors over Broadies, courtesy of a good last quarter. Pittman best on ground, Pascoe with 3 goals. So well done. They've cemented their spot in the 5 at the moment, the Kookaburras. There's one other little thing that caught my eye, Tim, and that is... We've got the Jag meatwork snag of the day, and Charlie Pridham was just out picking up his 1 kilo of snags for his snag of the day a few weeks ago. See a nice little photo there, a chuck there, going home with some of the best stuff from the Jag meatworks. And Div 2, a little bit different this week, Tim. I'm going to get you to take a break, mate. You take 5 on this one, because last week we didn't get a chance to highlight it due to the break, but I'd like to quickly review some of the standout players from last week's Division 2 stream weekend. It's not common knowledge, but we've fully statted all of the games streamed, and we'd love to share some of the insightful data with you. Here are the best on-ground players from each match, along with a breakdown of their stats and how to illustrate how they influence the game flow.
Ball Lucas Static. Check the inboard, towards Wharton. And another kick forward, nicely taken, Miles, who fought with MOD a few years back, and since then they've been...
There it is, so they stay alive here, Ross River. How they're playing in the middle, just taking some risks here. So some good positive play here by Ross River as they're going to clear it now. So, going to send the clearance here.
A margin that can go either way.
From Jay.
Yeah, well called, very nicely done there by...
Have a look at the space they've got now. Can they go in the corridor? Yes, again.
Pivotal push at the pivotal time, but only lands in a lap of Toby Schultz.
Yeah, Toby. Umpire called signal to point, or sorry, an out of bounds, but Swimmers Park have been awarded the free kick. Two sides playing completely different footy, and that's where Goodwood Saints are coming undone with the long...
Each other out at the moment. Either team getting the ascendancy either in the game or on the scoreboard thus far.
Kicking clearance has been very good for Swimmers Park. Again, I would almost sit someone off. In fact, it's Angus Clark, I think, has gone in the ruck. Yes, he has. And a nice take, nice trap there.
players, and the way it's going, Lockie, it just might.
This time throw it aloft. As the rucks resume. Cassini this time.
He's got Darcy Pisani, true centre half-back position. He's got a run. Everton got it out to about the centre. Now it's through some hands. It was marked by Knightley. He got it onto Darcy Pisani to the top of the square.
And the ball rolls out to Lenny.
Just stretch the mitts out, and sure enough,
towards the top of the 50 they go. Cassini. Gone and done into the side today. Another ball up. Robinson touchdown. McGowan.
5 points. Great game of footy here. Oh, bursting through the middle, advantage played. Picked up now by half forward. Coming across and taking a good mark there. McGowan now gets the handball out in front. Good position here. The big fella's got it. So throw in, out of side. Another big leap there. Bye.
Using Dartfish Stats, your data can be ready as early as Sunday morning for analysis. I know I get up every Sunday morning and have a look at my stats. It features over 2,000 data events per game. The platform provides individual player stats, heat maps of player activities, and numerous other valuable features. It not only allows you to assess the effectiveness of your own strategies, but also those of your opponents. If you're interested in having these games fully tracked, please contact Rowett at filmingfooty.com.au. And this is the kind of stuff that all the Div 1 coaches are doing, isn't it, Tim?
Fantastic.
Yeah, brilliantly done. So that was a fantastic look at what caught our eye in Division 2. Looking at Division 3, your area, mate, what have you got?
Yep, so sticking with the theme, I'm talking about the goal spreads. Div 1 and 2, the top divisions, have got the spread of players. As we head into Div 3, 4 and 5, you're going to see just a little bit more of a stretch between key players kicking goals and not. So just top sides, going through them very quickly. At Lockleys, you've got Benny Harron leading the goal kicking with 52. Ethan Kelsey, 32, Matt Madonu, 27. So the spread's getting there. Henley got 4. Tom Pillion on 40. Dylan Fry, 29. Harlan, 26. Hannigan, 24. So there's a reliance spread there. North Haven, Jamie Solly, 47. Matthew Reid, 24. And Jack McCafferty, 22. Pembroke, Forster and Denham, as I said, 38 and 37. So the spread's getting there. Just starting to stretch a little bit.
And continuing in my theme, the game that shaped the top 5 was 9th place CBC needing a win against 5th place Pembroke. It was the Kings that were too good. That man, Alex Forster, who you've just mentioned, best on ground with 6 goals, and a man who I've celebrated a premiership with, and that would really catch your eye, trust me. The boy goes off like a frog in the sock. I'll jump into Div 4 first, mate, and it was an interesting one. Again, it features the 9th place team, but it was 6th place Kenilworth facing 9th place Paraka, and the Kookaburras were down at half time. It was an interesting stat, but they managed to get on top in the end, getting over the line by about 26 points it was. Crump kicking 6 goals there for Kenilworth, and they're trying to chase down Heckies. Heckies, a 204-point win, probably just starting to get chock full of confidence with that one.
Yeah. Div 4, top 4 sides. That's where the upsets are going to happen. So let's just go through a couple of them. Plimpton at the moment on top. Zach Peake with 55 goals. Luke Paparella, 32. Lockie Stoddard, 32. So this good spread of 3 heavy goal kickers there. Kilburn, who are second. Corey Solly, 46. Drops down to Michael Housen, 26. 2. And then a lot of their goal kickers are in the teens after that. And then Hectorville, Jack Goodman-Glasson, 54. Luke Broadbent drops down to 20. So I'm getting to my theme of if a 54 goal kicker gets an injury, where's their next fill-in player to kick lots of goals? Because top sides have key forwards that they can deliver to.
And with Hecky sitting in 5th, it'd be very hard for them if they lost Goodman-Glasson to probably make that run, that full run. I'll move on to Division 5 now. It was 5th place Pulteney taking on 6th place Woody South. Exactly why I dug a little bit deep into this. It was at Park 20. You'd expect it to be Pulteney, but it wasn't. Pulteney 5-15, Woody South 11-15. A nice 6-goal win. Jake Mansell best on ground. A huge win for Woody South. Just starting to get them think finals. Maybe it's not over there for Woody South.
Well, I'll go with Pulteney then. There you go. Joel Aish, 58 goals for the year. Not only an injury, not available. What if they hold that player? What if that whole player is held for the day? And Lockie Cannell, 25, is second. Mitcham, though, Max Smythe, 74 goals. Lucas Spiniello, 44. And Kernelite Gardens, who are sitting second, have got a better spread. Nick Patterson, 42. Adam Brugioni, 34, and Kai Dean, 21. So getting there, hold that key forward for the day, and, where's your other avenues to go?
Yeah, Kai Dean, a midfielder, of course, as well. You can take us through Division 6, mate.
Okay, well, here we go. So Division 6, we've got the top 3 sides.
This is where this stat's going to be very, very...
Where it changes, right? So Salisbury at the moment are top place, and their leading goal kicker, James Gameau, with 60 goals. Josh Mann, 40, and Luke Puddy, 38. There's the spread, and they're sitting top of the table. Second and third, you've got Eastern Park. Second, Sean Mansell, congratulations, 100 goals, right? Kicked it on the weekend in 13 games. Chris Knapp, 85. So they've got 2, which I really, really like, the fact they've got 2 key forwards to get them over the line. The next one drops around, Luke McCormack-Smith down to 34. So they've got 2 reliance. Okay, Fitzroy, Josh Rosenthal, 99 goals as at the end of round 14. Okay, James Ellis, 71, Dylan Richardson, 28. So they've also got 2 key forwards that they can rely on. So I like the fact there's 2. Well, my point of today is don't have 1, okay, in case they get held or whatever done.
Beautifully done there, mate. And, of course, it's called What Caught Our Eye. 100 goals in a season, 99 that's about to come up. Of course, there'll be a separate segment, just like we did for the Para Hills player who kicked his 100th. We'll put a bit of time into them because they deserve it. Well done. It's a wonderful milestone that not many people get in their career. My Division 6 game, again, was an interesting one. It was 7th place Houghton taking on 4th place Ingle Farm. How would this shape the finals? It was at Houghton. They got the sheep off the ground and they played the game. Houghton very accurate, 18-7, 115. Ingle Farm, 14-12, 96. What has to be described as an upset. Martin with 5 and Babiak best for Houghton. All of a sudden now they start entertaining the idea finals are a maybe. Of course, 5th place St Paul's went down by 96 points. 6th place Rosewater went down by 168 points. So Houghton, all of a sudden, just a game out of 5, finding form at the right time. Anything can happen in Division 6. Really interesting result, that one.
Yeah, nice. I like that. Very
Div
good.
7.
Div 7, and this is where I got the idea from. So, Para Hills. I'm going to go with my dependency story here. This is what caught my eye, or caught our eye, was Daniel Wheatra, 111 goals in 14 games. Absolutely outstanding achievement. The next goal kicker for Para Hills is Brendan James with 26. So the dependency on that one player, whether he can be held on the day, you double team him, you play someone behind the ball, or he cops an injury, I'm wondering what Para Hills have got as an avenue for next best. O'Sullivan's Beach, who was sitting top of the table. Trevor Rigney was 70. Dan Loveridge with 25. So the spread from Div 1, where they've got everyone kicking goals and they don't have reliance on one, to the lower grades where they have a player that has that dependency and a great goal kicker, that's just what caught my eye for this round.
Yeah, I think it probably speaks, Tim, maybe to that team defence that played in Division 1, where everyone's got a roll and everyone rolls back, and there's not that open 50 just for the old school football, I guess you call it. But nonetheless, it's still great to watch some Div 7 footy. My theory was, now I couldn't do it there, it's top 4 for starters, but the top 4 is set in Division 7. I've said that already in previous weeks. So we had a really interesting game between 4th place Hackham and 3rd place Flinders Uni, and it was Blake Derr's boys getting the chocolate, 16 goals, 8-102. Actually, really, as Matt Garr would say, did the dishes with Flinders Uni, 6-7, 43. I'm not sure what that means, but I love Matt Garr, he's great. It was Jack Sharrod who was best on ground for Hackham, and again, it's all about Para Hills and OSB, but maybe Hackham, they're just, with performances like that, you never know, which leads me to my next thing. That will be the first grand final we see this year, Tim. On the 7th of September, the Division 7 grand final. The 14th will be Divisions 2 to 6. And, of course, the Division 1 grand final will take place on September 21st. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll be back next week with more of What Caught Our Eye. It is the final word, of course, for the great man Tim Pillion. Tim, have you enjoyed yourself today?
I absolutely love coming in and trying to share the Div 3 games and the trends of what's happening in the season.
Yeah, beautifully done. Of course, this segment is brought to us by SAPOL, South Australian Police Academy, always looking for new recruits. And we thank all of our wonderful sponsors because we don't exist without them, and the league needs their support, Tim.
Yep.
So there's plenty of them around. Now, my understanding is you're taking a week off this week. You're not going to be out at Div 3 this week?
I am. So pre-planned weekend away in Melbourne with a group of friends, and so I'll be going over to watch the Carlton Port game on the Friday night, races on the Saturday, home late Sunday.
I knew it would take something special to drag you away from your beloved Sharks.
Well, it might take me something to drag. Look, I'll tell you what caught my eye, something else, Tommy. I'm going to catch you on the spot here. Okay. I feel a little bit Henley-centric today because you caught me with talking to them for a part of my segment. You did walk in today and I noticed your tracksuit pants, you've got the Glenunga Rams on your pants. So just,
they're a very comfortable pant, my friend.
I don't know if we've got time. I'm going to throw back to you then. So tell me how they're doing so well in Div 1 and why they're the favourites for the premiership.
Oh, just taking it 1 week at a time. It's their system, I think. And again, I've quoted Nathan before. We may not be the most skillful, but we'll always be the team that brings the most effort. He has won Coach of the Week this week, as you would have already seen.
Yep.
He's got a wonderful team around him. In your what you've spoken to as well, in the spread of goal kickers, they're ticking your boxes as well. I think what is a successful team. Will they win the flag? Well, they fell 1 quarter short. Essentially, they were up at 3/4 time last year. They need to be just that little bit better, and they can. Do I think they'll win? Maybe. Do you think they'll win?
Haven't seen enough of Div 1, so
Yep.
can't answer that in this regard.
And so I start commentary again in round 18. I'll be there for all the finals, and I'll be able to form a very strong opinion. But they'll be there if they can close it out. Time will tell. Yeah, beautifully done, Tim. That's a nice way to finish off, I think, and it's been great to have you on the show. Thanks to everyone who has viewed the show today. We'll be back next week with more Between the Posts.